Punyavadi Vastyathyade Shatarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastyathyade Shatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Huh?
No, it's 7.
7.
That's why I called you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I thought I was coming early, but I came late. What can we do? Nobody can accuse of us being organized religion, right? Especially in the West, they don't want organized religion, so we're perfect for them, huh? So, thank you all for coming this evening. How many people went to Shantipur Festival? That's why they came. They didn't come to the Shantipur Festival, huh? Okay. Shri Gaurpani Festival 2024 Mahotsava Ki.
Yeah.
This evening, we are going to have a nice discussion, and Master Bhu prepared my notes for me. Basically, it's about the Mayapur Institute, but he wants it targeted toward a powerful Sastric journey. The powerful Sastric journeys and the Mayapur Institute, and these are all propelled by Prabhupada's loving Vani. So there's also Vrindavan Institute. There's, as you know, now so many. And here in Mayapur, I think we have probably the largest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, some has grown. And we're going to be discussing some of that history, and we're going to be talking about the effects of the learning that you get from the Institute, and a bit of the future. And it's going to be kind of an open discussion with all these senior devotees here who have been participating in this Institute for many, many years. So, of course, most of these devotees don't need any introduction, but for the viewers on the Mayapur TV, we have His Holiness Bhakta Vigna Vinas Nrsimha Maharaj Ki. Yeah. So, Maharaj, of course, has been a devotee since 1971 London, many services, currently traveling, preaching throughout Asia. And I think for us, of course, every year, Navadip Dham Parikram, still. My knees gave out. I couldn't do it this year. I'm sorry, Maharaj. I'll have knee surgery in June, so I couldn't come. But he's still going, him and Kavi Chandra Swami, so please give some nice appreciation to Maharaj. And I don't know if you all are aware, but really the founder of this institute and training, which is not an easy thing to do. How do you organize this? Prabhupada, he wanted this. Maharaj will talk about that a little bit later. He wanted all his disciples to be, not just read his books, but to learn them in a systematic way, and we will certify it with some degrees. So this was Prabhupada's idea. So, of course, we know chanting Hare Krishna is very nice, and that's sufficient in itself. But we are also very philosophical, so that way we can defeat Maya within ourselves and also help the others who are absorbed in Maya defeat Maya in themselves with this philosophy. So we have Jamasmi Prabhu. He's been involved with this council since 1977. You may not know it. He was a book distributor. Doesn't look like a book distributor, does he, huh? He's huge in America, huge. So, of course, that was a very important service that was being, Prabhupada was emphasizing quite a bit. And to put that aside to help build this institute, that had to be a very big decision to make, you know. So we'll hear more about that from him. And then our current Mayapur Institute Acharya, who's taken it to the new building. Isn't it nice over there? How many people have been to the new building? Say Haribol. Yeah, and I just went the other day. It's expanded even. Now they've got some more classrooms, the huts on the outside, and it's continuing to expand. This Grace Padmanabha Prabhu. And how many of you know that he's actually from where? Who you know where he's from? Very auspicious, one of our holy dams. Jagannath Puri. Didn't know that. I thought he was South Indian Brahmin. I wasn't aware. Of course, Bhakta Puri Shotamaraj, another scholar. So Puri Dham has their scholars also. And again, he's keeping the charge going and continue expanding the facility and the classes. So let's give a welcome to Jamasmi and Padmanabha Prabhu. So Maharaj, we're going to start with you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit. As you and I know, I remember back when Prabhupada brought up the idea of Bhakti Shastri degrees, and it's specifically for those who wanted Brahmin. I was getting my Brahmin right about that time. There wasn't any really formal classes, but I do know devotees, one devotee who took it, he said in 1976. So, but can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, 1976, that was when they had the first Bhakti Shastri exam.
They did. Was it Mayapur or Vrindavan?
In here in Mayapur.
Mayapur,
yeah. I was in Calcutta at the time. I couldn't take the exam, but I remember the devotees. There were no lectures, there was no preparation. Everyone just came and they said, and anyone wants to take Bhakti Shastri examination, have the examination. And there were questions, you know, not very difficult questions, simple questions on the philosophy. And everybody was to answer, write their answers. I think everybody passed.
Yeah, I mean, his devotee's name that I'm speaking of, his name is, a shout out to Vaishnavananda, if you're watching, Vaishnavananda, our God brother. And he said, yeah, I came in 1976 and I passed Bhakti Shastri. But
Jatpataka also.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Jatpataka, I did my Bhakti Shastri in 1976, the same time.
Okay.
That same.
There was
Sasvarupa Maharaj set the exam.
Wow, amazing.
He was the one who set the exam, and he may probably marked it, I don't know, but he was the first one to set the exam.
And imagine back then there wasn't all these nice facilities either. I think it was probably just the Lotus building at that time in 76.
Yeah, there was only the Lotus building. So, you know, everybody just sat in the verandas and wrote on bits of paper.
And that'll lead us into Jamasmi, because Sasarupa is from that area. He's from the east coast of the U.S. And somehow or another, Krishna inspired him to make this nice, formal, organize it, and get it put into motion. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. My initial inspiration for Sastric study came in 1989. And I attended the VIHE. They called it the Gorpurnim semester. And it was in January, just after I did a Christmas marathon in Atlanta.
Oh, Radha Krishna.
And it was just I'd been visiting Vrindavan since 1981 was my first time. Boy, did it ever open up for me like I'd never experienced. So blissful. And as a book distributor, we were instructed by our authorities to seriously study Prabhupada's books. So I had been doing that for 12 years. But in that 1 month, I had a real strong sense I'd learned more than I had in the previous 12 years. Lord Kapila instructs Devahuti, Satam Pasangam Namavirya Samvido Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Kata Tajdoshana Dashvapavarga Vartmani Shradavatir Bhaktir Anukramishati. So when we discuss the Lord's pastimes and the philosophy and the association of devotees, it's very pleasing to the heart and to the ear, and it accelerates our advancement tremendously, and that's what I experienced. So what was also remarkable, my experience in Vrindavan was remarkable, but when I got back to America, my personal book distribution results increased 35–40%. So it was like, wow. So naturally, that became part of my schedule on a yearly basis. And then I started going twice a year. I go for the Kartik and also the Gorpani semester. Okay, so then when I moved to Mayapur, I was working with
What year was that when you came to Mayapur?
I came here in Gorpani 77. I mean 97, sorry.
Okay.
Joined in 77, 97. And, you know, it was I had 2 young sons, and it was to give them proper education. And so I started working with the international school. And, you know, to help the school, I arranged teacher training courses, took a couple teacher training courses, and also a leadership management course. And I was amazed. You know, we had it in the Vaishnava Academy, and I had to turn so many devotees away because there was so much enthusiasm for it. So I thought, wow, this is some kind of indication of the potential of offering systematic training, you know, in Mayapur. So I met with Harisari. He was on the Mayapur Administrative Council at the time, and we met with Jayapataka Swami. And he loved the idea of starting an idea, but he said, under one condition, John Weston, you have to commit for a minimum of 5 years. Pass, okay? Can you do that? Because he knew it wasn't going to be easy. And the other motivation that I had was that there wasn't any tertiary education facility for young people growing up in the movement. And so that was also part of the impetus, you know, to try and get something like that going. So, you know, but then, you know, but the experiences I had studying in the VIHE, I just loved it so much, you know, and I wanted to do something, help other devotees experience that same powerful experience.
Did you,
Yeah, it was really the Vrindavan where they started. I remember we used to go for Kartik for 1 month at Kartik, because Tamal Krishna Goswami was teaching. He would teach there, and Rabindra Swarup would teach, and Jayadvaita would teach something, and Sasvarupa Maharaj would also teach sometimes, and Bhakti Charu Swami. They would all teach, you know, there were many courses going on, right?
Giriraj Swami.
Yeah, also. Giriraj also. So it started in Vrindavan, and then they started having it on Mayapur also. And so some people were in Mayapur and some were in Vrindavan. But usually it would be for 1 month at Kartik time. It's very intense. Come for a whole month, you know. Every day, lectures.
so it was 4-hour sessions or 8 hours? You have your 4-hour session and then have your lunch? Hey, can you all hear us okay? Is it?
A little bit of feedback on it.
Can someone adjust the sound? I think it's a little too loud, it's vibrating. Haribo, Haribo. Okay. You have to realize when Maharaj was talking about Vrindavan, there's no computers. It was all paper and pen, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Paper and pen and book.
Yeah, paper.
Old-fashioned learning.
Everything
we were fellow
handwritten.
students for many sessions.
Yeah, I met him there in Vrindavan. We were classmates. That was what, 1980 something? Maybe?
89 is when I first went.
Yeah.
They started in 88.
Has the course changed much, or is it pretty much the same as it was back then? Or has it become a little more elaborate?
No, there's definitely a lot more.
Elaborate, okay. But the basics is still there, the Bhagavad Gita, Nectar, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Prabhu, so when did you first take your official training in Bhakti Shastri? Of course, he was a natural scholar coming from Puri, but...
Yeah, I started in the year 2003.
Where was that?
In Mayapur Institute.
Mayapur, so then Prabhu was, yeah.
The master was there actually, he was the leader. And I had some service in the guest house department. And Prabhu would always encourage Mayapur resident brahmacharis who were inclined to study. From time to time he would just, come to me, he would say, hey, come, I'll give you a scholarship. In Mayapur, on those
So
days.
it wasn't free.
Oh, yeah, he gave me a
But I'm
scholarship.
saying for regular students, did they have to pay in Vrindavan also, or are they giving it free?
Yeah.
It's always been paid. Except in 76, I think, was free. Well, there wasn't anything but your test, so I guess they didn't have to charge.
So my first introduction to Bhakti Sastri was because of Janmashtami Prabhu. He gave me scholarship and he encouraged me. I did in 2003, again, that was in Bangla, first I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then again I started in English. So I did 2 times.
2 times.
And when I was doing in English, Maharaj was my Sishopanishad teacher. On those days we used to have class in Seva building, ground floor. I still remember Maharaj, he would not sit. Just take the book, he would just work and talk very loud and clear. Very encouraging. When I saw how Maharaj was reciting the verses and speaking from his realization, it really made it very lively in the class. And I was very impressed. Jayadutta Maharaj was also a teacher. He was teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj was teaching Sishopanishad. So in that way, because even though in those days we had at the end we had only one test. You have to read all those, then you come with preparation, you have to sit there. It was a nice experience because they had these objectives very clearly defined.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you read something, stick. Oh yeah, I am reading this philosophy. This is for my personal application, or this is how I can preach to people who I meet. And this is, to understand Shastra is like this. It was very wonderful experience. That actually, Janmashtami Prabhu intrigued me, I would say like that.
What did I do? I didn't hear.
You intrigued me.
Oh, I intrigued you. Okay.
What service were you doing before you took the Bhakti Shastri?
I was serving as kitchen in charge.
Kitchen in charge.
Gada kitchen in charge.
Where was this again?
Uh,
Puri, or you were in
no,
Mayapur?
here, in
You
Gada
were in
building.
Gada kitchen here.
Gada kitchen.
Okay. Yeah. And I think at that time also it was only English Bhakti Shastri.
Only English,
Only
yeah.
English at the time.
No, we had Bengali.
You had
We
Bengali.
actually started with Bengali. That was the first.
Really?
Because I made a deal with the VIH. I asked them to help get it going, and they said, okay, on one condition, you can't offer Bhakti Shastri for 3 years, okay? So I didn't exactly cheat because they didn't want the competition. So we did Bengali first, and then we did an unadvertised only locally advertised English Bhakti Shastri.
Mhm.
That's when Atul Krishna came on board.
Oh, okay.
And then I think the 3rd year, we just did it.
So,
And we had no facilities. There was nowhere to stay like that. Classes were in your house, right? That was your house.
In the house, Jayadvaita Swami used to do it in
In
the
ISKCON
lawn in the
housing.
park.
And
Huh?
over here in the ISKCON housing.
Seva
Yeah,
building.
Seva building.
yeah, all the classes were there.
We had
Ground floor.
the first 2 classrooms. The first classroom was our first flat. The second classroom was in the front of the building. Then we had the 3rd classroom on the back side, or the next building, on the Ganga side. So we had 3 classrooms.
Some
and-
classrooms were outside, under the tree or that kind of.
Yeah. So we had, we had a kutir in the back too. That was another thing. And, we have a 16 by 20 foot classroom. And I remember we really took off, I think it was maybe the 4th year or something, and we had something like 80 students. It was like incredible.
Well, you were teaching by that time, Maharaj. You got involved, huh? With the Bhakti Shastri as a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, how many people here have Bhakti Shastri? Raise your hand. How many want to have Bhakti Shastri? There we go. Get them all up. I was one of the reluctant ones. I took it last year after being a devotee like 50 years. Like, I need Bhakti Shastri. I read these books 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I know the philosophy. So, but anyway, they had a 5-week course. I said, okay, I'll breeze through that 5-week course. And again, anyone who has taken it, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's not like studying into the university for, engineering or anything like that. Because it's Shastra, isn't it? And I began to feel like, especially with that accelerated course, it was 4 hours, go to lunch, come back for another 4 hours. And then in the evening, you had to do all your work. So we're kind of like, Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Pariksit. It was 7 days, 24 hours, no eating, no sleeping, this Krishna Katha. And it was really wonderful. I want to do Bhakti Vaibhava. I liked it so much. I got so much out of that, So, but I'm sure you all have you've met people who've taken it in the past and see how it affects their lives, or Maharaj?
Oh yeah, we had one couple from Taiwan came and took the course. After they took the course, they went back, they wrote 3 books and they got them published.
Wow.
They started writing books, in Chinese and got them published there. So it really had a big impact on them.
To me, what it does, I wouldn't say reconfirms, but maybe a better word, it confirms your realizations in Shastra. Because as you render devotional service, you're going to get realizations about so many things. So how do you confirm them? Just because I feel it? Now you can talk to other devotees, and they go, yeah, that's really wonderful, that's so enlivening. But then when you confirm it with Shastra, it becomes anchored in you. And like Maharaj says, they feel inspired to, let me start writing books. Otherwise, sometimes you have a little doubt, isn't it? So getting ourselves fixed in the philosophy it will help your own devotional service greatly, huh? So what about yourself, John Masmi? I mean, you've been teaching this course for so long. Any students come back to you and say, thank you so much?
This morning, a sannyasi, I was on the backside at Mangalartik behind Panchatattva, and a sannyasi came around the corner, and he offered obeisances to me. And of course, I offered obeisances to him. And then he said, you may not remember Janmashtami Prabhu, but I was in your first batch. And it was noisy, so I couldn't, he was telling me what his name is, but I couldn't quite hear it. So I was going to say, I got your contact info, so I'll send it to you, but I think that was my old contact info. So, and I asked him, so what was your experience? It was transformational, am I correct? He said, oh yeah, incredible. So that's generally what I've experienced over the years, is that many devotees, if they take it seriously, what I've found is if devotees are very serious about chanting good japa, they don't see it so much as an academic exercise, but as a devotional exercise, that they can make tremendous advancement and really feel the Prabhupada's personal ecstasies are in his purports.
Yes,
and it's really powerful. Sometimes it just, things come alive.
It's very special to get a group of people together who are all trying to study the books, When you're in your temple every morning, you have a class, but not everybody's into it, Some people are in a little bit, some people. But when you're doing Bhakti Shastri, everyone's pretty much focused on, they really want to study it, they're there for a reason, they're really making a sacrifice to be there.
I like how it's actually it's interactive. It's not like you're just sitting there and being lectured to and then, let me get the answer right. But it's very open. And the variety of devotees that are in the class. This year's Bhakti Shastri, you'd be surprised to know they had His Grace Rameshwara was in Bhakti Shastri. I wanted to go, even though I took it, I wanted to hear that conversation in that class with Bhakti Damodar Swami was teaching and Rameshwara is the student. And I was speaking to a couple of the devotees. Oh man, they're so wonderful, the conversations and the examples he was giving from, his experiences. So you'll be sharing experiences with the devotees, which are all unique. It's not that we all have realizations, right, Maharaj? But you'll be surprised how unique everyone's realizations are. And this Bhakti Shastri will bring those out more and confirm them. And you can share them with, nice teachers and other devotees there. Even sometimes you'll get some old Prabhupada disciples sitting there, start giving you some examples from, I remember in 1971 when Prabhupada said like this and we did like that. So it's like a life experience. So, well, how about yourself coming from Puri? To me, it seems like the devotees from South India and Puri, they already know everything. Why do they need Bhakti Shastri?
Well, I actually come from a family of educators. My father was an educator. Two of my brothers are in education field in our place. And now I am here, I am also into education field. In that you can see that education is there in the blood. But after I got involved in Mayapur Institute, I have seen personally how this Sastric training program has significantly increased the life of the devotees in different fields. I just want to give two examples. Sometimes, devotees, they feel, even devotees also, they feel, oh, Bhagavad Gita is just like a philosophy, There's a philosophy, hardcore philosophy. How to relate it to our daily life. Well, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking the way of life. I went to San Francisco last year. I met with one student. He studied in Mayapur Institute. When I first took over, actually, he told me. He said, Prabhu, this Bhakti Shastri has helped me so much. Even right now, I am in this San Francisco city. I have my wife. I am working, but I have never forgotten that my first identity is to serve Krishna. And I have to go to work in the office. And now I have learned the art of how to balance my life. And you all taught me in the classroom. So I mean to say, here is a gentleman. He has his family. He has kids. He's working in San Francisco. What is the life there? So much of, mode of passion. But this man is saying, I have learned how to make a balance in my life. So, one thing is, he has to work, what consciousness he should work, so that he is not deviated from his sadhana practice. He told me. So that is one example. Another example is, some devotees, they are in our organization, and after going through this training program, how they have become more inspired to take up more responsibility for Prabhupada. The example is Srivas Maharaj.
Yes.
Prabhu is now Guru, actually from West Africa. When he first came, he did his Bhakti Shastri, he went back, then his GBC said, no, for next 2 years you are not going. Because we are craving to come back to do Bhakti Vaibhav. But his GBC said, no, there is shortage of manpower, you cannot go. Unless you find a replacement, then only you can go. So he was waiting, then after 2 years he found, and he came back. He studied Bhakti Vaibhava, then Bhakti Vedanta. He was so studious, and he got so much inspiration. After he went back, he said, it helped me to become more efficient, even in my management service in ISKCON. See, first I gave an example, with just a grahastha working outside, he's also leading a very successful life, and he's telling that Bhakti Shastri has helped me. Here's another man, he is still in ISKCON, he has become a guru now, he has more responsibility, And he told, it helped me actually to think in a structured way, what I am speaking, I am reflecting. I don't want to do something which is going to backfire on students or on me. And then I requested him, I said, Prabhu, why don't you take up teaching? He said, oh, that's very wonderful. He had a dream.
He has time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. When you have found the test, you will find the time. Yeah. And he comes every year, stay here for 2 months. He is still studying and teaching in Mayapur Institute.
Yeah, I mean, he told me he wants to have, what is the top degree?
Bhakti Sarabhoma.
Oh, okay. I think he's working on the Bhaktivedanta at the moment, huh?
Yeah.
Almost finishing. So, how far have you gone in your Sastric degrees? Do you have some people who completed all of them?
No, Sarabhoma we have not started.
Nobody's got that far. How many Bhaktivedantas?
Bhaktivedanta we have first batch around 7 students, this year 11 students.
Oh, what kind of devotees are taking that
18 students have completed so far.
Just brahmacharis? And
no. All, Matajis are there, Prabhus are there, some brahmacharis are there. A mix. And we have now gender separate program, separate for the ladies, separate for the boys. And that makes it even more interesting, because when you are with the same gender in the class, then you can discuss many more things which is in a very comfortable manner. So in that many ladies also they share their experiences, that it is very, very conducive and inspiring for them. Some of you maybe you can join.
We found it also good to help people who are not so educated. Not everybody can take these Sastric study courses. We have people, very nice devotees, who are sometimes illiterate. In Malaysia, for example, in Malaysia there's a Tamil community there. And the elderly Tamil people, they're often not educated. They never got education. So we started doing a course for them. Although they're illiterate.
How do you do that, Maharaj?
Well, we have some nice devotees. There's one lady who, for example, there's one lady in Malaysia, she's Tamil, she's from India, and she teaches them to pronounce, to read the verse, She gets them to read the Sanskrit verse and to memorize the verse, because it's very difficult for some people, I mean, I know, like China, for example, Chinese people cannot read pinyin. They're not familiar with pinyin. Yeah. They read Chinese letters. So Malaysia also, they read Tamil, and the Tamil pronunciation is different from Sanskrit. So we got people teach them. Somehow they spend time, they can't read the books, they read to them.
Adigo.
Right? Because they're not able to read themselves. So this one lady who can read it, she reads it to them. And then she'll explain it to them as well. And she'll train them also to recite a verse.
I remember there's another devotee, maybe you know him, this Paramananda Prabhu.
Who?
Paramananda Krishna.
Where?
Malaysia. He was a headmaster and teacher. School.
He was a retired headmaster, yeah.
He came to do Bhakti Shastri here, and after he completed, he was so inspired. After he went back, now he is teaching to the children. He's so inspired. He said, "Oh, I can't stop." Of course, he was a teacher, school teacher, it makes him more, easy. And he's so inspired. Every day, in the morning time, he's teaching them verses, little philosophy, and the children are very inspired. This is another transformational experience.
That one lady from USA, Boise,
Idaho.
She's published the Bhagavatam, canto by canto, for children. And she's got every chapter, she's got it all, she's got activities for them, Not just write essays, but she's got games and crossword puzzles and different things. So many varieties of different activities. And she explains each and every chapter of the Bhagavatam. She's done first 5 cantos already, every chapter.
We have also started, Maharaj, in Mayapur Institute.
Yeah.
Around 60 teachers are teaching now around the world to the children. This is in Bhagavatam. Every unit we have made it to one level. At the end, as you said, there are some tests, crossword puzzles and some artwork. Like that, around 60 teachers are now teaching.
Like that, we want to take care of everyone, be concerned for everyone, give Krishna consciousness to people at all levels, educated and uneducated. Give everyone a chance.
So there's no excuse for not taking Bhakti Shastri. We can't say, I already know that I read these books 20 times, why do I have to do it again? Why? Even Jai Pataka Maharaj, he actually, I think it was last year, he did Bhakti Shastri again, even though he did it in 76, I guess.
No.
He finished Bhakti Vaibhava
Bhakti
also.
Vaibhava. This year he got Bhakti Vedanta.
See, Haribol. So imagine it seems difficult, but actually it's ecstatic. That's the point we're trying to make here. So, but another thing I guess some people may ask also is there seems to be these institutes in Vrindavan, Mayapur. Are there others besides those 2 places?
Yes, there are.
Who certifies them or accreditates them? Is there an organization above that?
No, there is this ISKCON Board of Examination.
And where are they? In the clouds? I mean,
That's
does it...
Bhakti Rupa.
Huh?
Bhakti Rupa down in Narissa.
How many devotees are on that board?
I don't know. 3 or 4. Until Krishna's involved with that.
Oh, okay.
And Bhakti Rupa, not sure who else.
So I guess after Vrindavan was really the only school at one time, and then Mayapur came, and then I guess they started that accreditation group around that time. Or were you competing? No, we have ours, you have yours. No. Like for instance, if you get your Bhakti Shastri here, you can do Bhakti Vaibhava in Vrindavan if you want, correct?
Yes.
It's all okay.
Well, it's like universities, there's different grades of universities, you've got the Ivy League.
So this is the Harvard.
Yeah,
Of course, Mayapur, it's perfect for Mayapur. Living here is very nice, isn't it? So it's really conducive for people coming to study. And Prabhupada, of course, wanted Mayapur to be built like this.
Not everybody comes to study. We do a lot more online now. So
really?
Many people graduated online. Oh. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava.
How does that work online? How's the experience in relation to in the classroom?
Well, it's not as good as having people in Mayapur. You get people online, you don't know how much they're paying attention, and
the feedback is a little...
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but it depends on the people. If they're sincere, you get some people, they just take advantage, they don't listen, they don't really participate in the class. But if you get good students, it can be nice.
One thing that I found to be helpful is that I had a standard that everyone had to have their video turned on.
Yeah, that's a good thing. If you make it a standard, you must turn the video on, because sometimes, you ask somebody a question and they're not there, Their camera's on, but, they got some picture there.
Well, maybe they got to take care of the baby, they had to run off for them.
Another thing is I would call them by names, and in every lesson I'd have at least one interactive exercise where they do group work. And they seemed to be pretty similar to what could be done, in person, the response that I got from the students.
What about some of what are the future plans? We see you have all that land over there now, and of course you have to thank John Masmi Prabhu for being the pioneer and getting it all started. That's the hard part, I guess. You can only imagine. He's using where he lives, that was the school. Can you imagine that? You never stop serving. It's always 24 hours. But
Very, very good question you are asking me. In my understanding, this is backbone of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON to educate everybody in the science of Krishna consciousness. And that inspiration he received from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If we go back, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has divided entire Vedic literature starting from Shruti into 10 different compartments. And he has assigned what can be studied under that section. So currently, even though we are just simply studying Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Sishopanishad, in Bhakti Sastra, and Bhakti Vaibhava only, Bhagavatam, Bhakti Vedanta also Bhagavatam. But he has given us a very extensive curriculum, which can be said to establish a university by itself. Like somebody made a comment that there are so many philosophers in the world, they read only Western philosophy. Our Jiva Goswami, he has written short Sandarbha. If one philosopher wants to study maybe 2 sutras from this Sandarbha, he may spend his entire life. I mean to say, our philosophical depth is so deep that a devotee can immerse himself throughout the entire life and he can be very happy and peaceful in Krishna consciousness. So our goal is, alongside what Prabhupada has instructed us to do, that is the first priority. Almost we are there now. Bhakti Vedanta, we are going to now start Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Then also we want to incorporate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's curriculum, which eventually help us to be recognized as a university for Vaishnava studies.
Haribol.
Because Chaitanya Bhagavat gives this insight. On those days, people came from different provinces in India to Navadvip, because Navadvip used to be the hub of spiritual education at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu also had his stall, Gangadas Pandit he had stall, many, Vyakarana, Kalpas. So, Sahitya, people came to study. So, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, it is going to revive. And that revival has already started. He did mention about many palatial buildings going to come up on the bank of Ganga, just to give you a direct experience, which is happening right now actually. And also he said that, he wrote to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, Saraswati, I have a special desire to preach the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sat Sandarbha, Vedanta Darshan. You have to accept this responsibility. Sridham Mayapur will prosper if you establish an educational institution there.
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in 1910 he instructed this. I mean to say, this, education in Mayapur, Sastric education, if it is established properly, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prediction, is going to bring prosperity, upliftment to entire Mayapur. So our goal is, we want to establish this as the university for Vaishnava studies, and now students are coming from different parts of the world, we invite them, there will be facility, there will be library, admin, different classroom facilities, all teachers are coming from all across the world, students are also coming. We want to revive that consciousness of Navadvip by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. What do you think about that? Is it a good idea or no? Say Haribol. Also, something on the side, but of course, mostly it's financed by the tuitions, but they also are accept, many people give donations, don't you have
Yeah.
big donors?
We are
Like other
surviving on
universities,
donations
people
only.
will wheel their property to like Harvard, so why not leave your property to Mayapur Institute also? But some big donors, you can speak about some?
Well, one devotee has given me 2 crores. Rest just, one devotee has given me 50 lakhs. Some have given 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. And some have given me 14 rupees,
Hare Krishna.
7 rupees. Yes, when Maharaj, I used to go to Middle East in the year 2010, I still remember. That time, dirham was like 14 rupees. And they used to bring me to labor camp to give class. Then the boy who was bringing me, he would tell, Prabhu is doing this education program, maybe we are not able to go and study, our children will go and study, please help. I have seen one boy gave me half a dirham, means 7 rupees. I have seen this, I am telling you. This is how we have collected, and this building is there. Now, whatever charge we are asking students to pay as a tuition fee, that is just going to maintain the existing program. When we want to expand now, we want to do some more construction work, we need donations. Without donation, we cannot. So we are expecting to start our next classroom building very soon, and for which we have already started campaigning, and some devotees have started giving little. If it so happen, then I think by the mercy of the devotees, we will have our next building construction start very soon.
I think we're running a little late.
What
already.
is it? You're
You
going
some-
to construct for an ashram for the ladies or what?
There are 2, Maharaj. One will be ladies hostel and another one classroom building. These 2, actually 3 buildings are very, very essential. One is classroom building, ladies hostel, and library and admin. Because so many students are coming, we don't have a proper library. Without library, it becomes very difficult.
When we built the Juhu Temple, Juhu Temple was opened 1978, and just at the beginning of the year. Prabhupada departed November 1977, and a couple of months later they opened the Juhu Temple in Mumbai, and there was a library. They sent devotee around India purchasing important books. Prabhupada said this, he said you should have a library and collect the books of the different acharyas, and they have it there. And I used to work for the BBT, I used to sell the sets of Bhagavatams. I travelled around India. I was travelling with Mahavishnu. At the time, the 2 of us, we were brahmacharis, and we used to go to temples, and they all have libraries. All these temples in South India, Trivandrum, Anantapadmanabha, Meenakshi, Tirupati, all these places, they all have a library. Every temple would have and we would sell them Prabhupada's books.
Hare Krishna.
We would show them the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We'd say, look, your temple is in this book, And so they'd say, whoa, they'd feel happy to see.
I have to buy it.
Yes, Maharaj. And nowadays, so many devotees are coming to Mayapur. They sometimes ask, Prabhu, where we can go? Do you have a library? They ask me because they know I am running this school. You have a library, we can come and study. So library is a very important facility we need to be effectively impart this education to the devotees. So we are sincerely meditating on that part also.
Of course, we have the Bhaktivedanta Research Library in Calcutta.
Calcutta.
So I think we have some final words. Maybe we'll start with John Matsmi, then we'll have Maharaj summarize it all. Or
Are we going to 8:30 or?
8:30, I don't know. I came late, so I didn't know if he had to stop at a particular time. Do we have all night, John? We can go to 9 o'clock, right? Trying to eat dinner and do the video at the same time. Well, I can bring up another question, actually. We see in ISKCON, we have this formal training.
That's what
Thank
I was
you.
scheduled.
We have this formal training, Was this occurred in the Gaudiya Math when Bhaktisiddhanta was there? Any formal certifications and things like that? You ever heard anything like that?
Yeah. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vibe, that's all from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought this was Prabhupada's.
But their Bhakti Shastri, it was much harder than ours.
I have question paper.
Yeah, their Bhakti Shastri is our Bhakti Vaibhava, I guess.
They go very deep into things.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you know if they still maintain those? I don't, because they all split up a little bit, so who...
Yeah, they split up a bit. They don't have so much courses anymore.
Oh, okay.
Most of the books at the Bhaktivedanta Research Library in Calcutta came from the Gaudiya Maths.
Oh, that was from their old Bhakti Shastri schools. We just took all their books.
Their old libraries were donated, yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you give us a little more history about how you pioneered this? Because you make it sound so easy, like you just, well, you know, we started it in my house. There had to be all kind of difficulties for sure, huh?
Well, it just seemed like Krishna sent the right people at the right time. Like Atul Krishna came on board, and Maharaj came on board, Jayadvaita Swami, Kadamakanana Swami. It was so sweet, you know, and we would take lunch together in the lawn outside the building. And then every 2 or 3 weeks, we'd have Kadamakanana Swami lead out a parikrama. And whew, boy, put everybody in ecstasy. It was so nice. So what I understood, you know, was the best way to do it is we had the first website in Mayapur. And then
that's 90s. You were in 83 or so when you began in Mayapur.
No, I came to Mayapur in 97.
Oh, 90, okay, yeah, the computers.
In 2000 we launched the MI. And one thing is that a lot of our promotions was done through BTG. So I would book people, because it would take 4 months from the time they received it to put it in. We'd have a full page ad in Bhakti Godhead magazine every year. So I would organize so that we had our teachers lined up for Kartik, so that we would post. We had a 3-story high poster, big signboard on the side of Conch building. And you know, all the teachers that we would be having starting in Kartik. And so getting it all lined up in advance, and then I would do kind of like book distribution modalities. You know, like he said, I intrigued him to come. So I would go out and I'd recruit people. We'd have right in the Radhamadhava courtyard, we had a sign-up table. This is kind of, we weren't using computers so much, we just did it all by hand. And we had a signboard with all of our courses, and then I would just go talk people into it, sign them up on the spot. It was like a little
kind of huckster them in here. Hey, come on over, have a look.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a book distribution modality. And so then that was a lot of the recruitment was done in person during the Gorpani festival. We'd sign them up, and then we'd put our promotions out very early, you know, on the internet. We used Pam Hall, and then we had our own page on the Pam Hall system.
Then I was going to Middle East. I used to visit regular to Middle East. Somebody I knew from Taiwan had moved to the Middle East, and they invited me to come to the Middle East. So when I was there, I was talking to them about the courses we're doing in Mayapur, and they were like, wow, we got to have this, you know. They were so eager, and you know, so now we did so much programs there, so many courses there, in Dubai and Bahrain, and these people there, they love to study because they're there in the Middle East, have nothing to do.
Now, Maharaj, we are helping not only in Dubai, Middle East, we are also in USA, we are in Canada, we are in London, we are in Singapore, we are in Malaysia,
South
in
Africa.
Indonesia,
South Africa,
South
Australia.
Africa, Australia. Even South India also we have
Yeah.
some devotees there, they stay connected with us. We work together.
Oh.
They need some support, we help them. Because we are the oldest institute in ISKCON and we have a lot of materials available with us. We have so many experienced teachers, so we help them.
And it's like a different stage at this point. In the beginning, it was mostly word of mouth. Once people took the course and went back, that inspired so many others to come.
Right.
They
had positive experiences. That was our best. And then we have they would give kind of homages, of their experiences, and we would post those on our website. But they were, very real, and the devotees, the word spread. They had such positive experiences. They go back to their temples, and then devotees would want to
Radhanath Maharaj's disciples from Pune and Champati, they all came one year and they all took the teacher training course and everything. They went back, they started that eco village and they've got their own courses going on there.
We used to do 45 courses from Saraswati Puja to Gaur Purnim. And we'd bring 10 brahmacharis from Pune to help manage it all. And that was very powerful. I would start recruiting a year before and get a lot of, I'd send out messages to about 75 sannyasis. And you know who would always answer first? Was Bhakti Tirtha Swami. It was, I was sick, so I didn't go to his Yasa Puja, but he would always respond, and then he committed to teaching when he got really sick. And then Nagaraj, who's the editor for Back to Godhead magazine, turned around to me, do you think he's actually going to be able to do it? He's really sick. And so I wrote back to Maharaj, are you going to come? And he said, yes, I'm coming. But then he ended up, he couldn't come. So there was a lot of enthusiasm, that came from the senior devotees who were very excited about what was going on with the Mayapur Institute, and that enthusiasm spread. They sent many of their disciples and devotees from the temples. So it became kind of the in thing to do, It was like...
Actually, I think they should make part of the Mayapur festival. They have the honoring of the book distributors, right? They should do that. Have Bhakti Shastri bring them up also one day and honor all the people who completed their Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava,
Well, we have a separate program for that. We do it.
Yeah, but in the temple room like they do in the morning, something, and it really puts some emphasis on it. Huh?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's just amongst the people who did it, in a sense, and you do it like that, so...
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
You could have like the top temple with the most Bhakti Shastri students in the Which temple had the most Bhakti Vaibhav?
Well, it's definitely going to be India, for sure, I think. I think the U.S. is kind of lagging behind most of the other countries.
Some places they are doing on their own, some places, as I said, we are helping.
Oh yeah, because we have that other organization on top that's... they're logging all the people who are completing the courses.
In Melbourne, Australia, they do a lot of courses. They have a lot of Bhakti Vaibhav graduates there.
In Mayapur, how many languages are they teaching the courses in?
Huh?
How many languages are the different courses taught in?
We are teaching currently in Bengali, Hindi, English, Russian, then Oriya, 5 different languages.
I think Chinese also?
Yeah, no, then also Tamil. Tamil. Chinese just we started one seminar this year. We are hoping in future we want to start Chinese also.
I have a building just for Chinese.
Yeah.
A room classroom, I mean.
Yes.
Well, they're not getting visas, so it's not practical. We've got to do it online. They do it online.
Okay.
They have it in China. They have their own thing.
Within China now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Those who are outside of China, they can come.
Yeah. Like people from Malaysia, Chinese from Malaysia can come. Or Singapore. There's Chinese people everywhere.
We are doing, Maharaj, this Navadip Dham Mahatmya now. We have around 12 students in this class, and more than 100 students are attending online in Chinese.
Yeah. Well, that's not much. You got you got a billion people there.
Yeah.
At least to start with something, Maharaj.
Could we take some questions, you think, from anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone have anything they want to ask from these?
Yes,
maybe
Prabhupada
Mataji. We better use your microphone, Jamasmi.
Prabhupada Kripa Mataji is a great educationalist there. She was a very big book distributor in her time, a very big collector, fundraiser.
Really?
I think we should put you in charge of raising funds for TOVP. We'll get it built, for sure.
I didn't know you knew that about me, Maharaj. Well, I did Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhava with Mayapur Institute.
Haribol.
And then I was waiting for Bhakti Vedanta to come out. And I was thinking, whoever gets it out first, I'm going to take it with them. So Vrindavan, VIHE beat you to it. So I completed my Bhakti Vedanta with VIHE. And now I'm waiting to see who's going to come out with Bhakti Sarvabhauma first. So I know that VIHE, they have Burijan Prabhu working on the curriculum. So what is the status with the Mayapur Institute? What is the prognosis for that coming out?
It'll take 1 more year.
1 more year, okay.
Well, it's kind of like PhD, you know, you can have 1 or 2 students, you don't have to 10.
Actually, in Chaitanya Charitamrita study, I would say some students will come as, Bhakti Sarvabhauma students, they will be ready to take the test. But some others will just come to relish Chaitanya Charitamrita in Mayapur. So in that way, you have to make it like, in a way, befitting to the students who want to go through the test. At the same time, some listeners can be there to just, relish Chaitanya Charitamrita. And according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wanted us to teach Chaitanya Charitamrita by following Sandarbha.
By following?
Sat Sandarbha.
Sat Sandarbha.
Because the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnava is complete, or you can say very explicitly explained in Sat Sandarbha. When you study Chaitanya Charitamrita with Sat Sandarbha, then nobody can take it lightly. They will understand the authenticity of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's desire actually. Maybe we are in Mayapur Dham, if you all pray, Bhaktivinoda Thakur will work through somebody to help us to start teaching in that mood.
Well, Burijan Prabhu's books, which he's published on the Bhagavatam, they give a lot of quotes from the Sandarbhas. If you read his books, he's got the first one, Unveiling the Lotus Feet, and like that. He's done the first 6 cantos, and then he did canto 11 and 12, and the other part's not published yet. But everywhere he's put the quotes. He's done the relevant quotes of the different acharyas, and especially Sandarbhas is there for the Bhagavatam.
So you're planning to teach Bhakti Sarvabhauma will be the full Chaitanya Charitamrita and also all the Sandarbhas?
Not all the Sandarbhas, there are some part of the, for example, if you speak about Super Soul, let me tell, okay, one example. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, where this discussion about Super Soul is there, so that is linked with the Paramatma Sandarbha, certain section which is speaking that philosophy, that can be taught as a reference when we are teaching that part only in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like that, Guru Tattva, for example, okay, you can refer where it is explained. So in that way, it will bring more authenticity and it will give a very solid understanding about our philosophy. Because sometimes some people, they feel, this Chaitanya Charitamrita written in Bengali, what is the authenticity of this book? So just somebody from Bangla, he came, just wrote something in Bengali prayer, so what? Some people, they take it very lightly. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur could see that. That's why he, particularly suggested it can be, studied in conjunction with the Sandarbha. And it will bring more weight to the study program.
Anyone else have any questions or? Well, we can summarize. We're going to get about 10 minutes, so maybe we can have Jamas, maybe some marks, and we'll finish with Maharaj, if you like. Okay, here we go.
Summarize, okay.
With some final thoughts. How about that?
How to approach the Sastric study. Sometimes devotees approach it like they would the educational experiences that they had on the material platform. But it's what I found to be the most effective is to encourage devotees to put a super high priority on their japa, and then everything comes alive. And so if there's really strong sadhana practices, then there won't be that misconception. This is just academic, I'm doing it to get the grade. And there's an impetus, to study hard because I got an exam coming up. There's no question that's helpful. But that's sometimes a tendency that people get into. And another reason that people maybe don't want to take Bhakti Shastri because they had such negative experience in education prior to coming to ISKCON. So, I don't want to study, it's all dry. But this can be the most relishable experience in a devotee's life. And that's what we've experienced, Some devotees have just been transformed by it. That's my own situation. So, that's why I think, Anandamayo Vyasat. We're all pleasure-seeking by nature. This is Krishna's quality of Krishna, and we have that. We share that. So this is actually the way that we can achieve the highest pleasure. We can get a high taste. We connect on a very, very deep heart level with Srila Prabhupada. This will be an amazing experience, but we have to do it. We have to put it as a high priority in our lives. And then major changes can take place where we'll get happier and happier and happier. That's what, chant and be happy. That was one of the original titles in one of Prabhupada's books. And that's what happens. And particularly if we study and we chant, and we do this in the association of other devotees, we develop loving relationships with them, we develop relationships with our teachers, and it's just powerful.
Yeah, it's important that we don't view these Sastric studies in a mundane manner and think about competition and want to be the top student and get the best grades, That's not the real purpose. For example, there was one devotee, they wanted to get their second initiation. And they're very good devotee, do a lot of service in the temple. But they said, I'm not a studious person and it will be difficult for me to do bhakti or bhakti shastri. I have to learn slokas, I haven't learned sloka. They only did service, they did a lot of cooking, spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking offerings. But Jayapataka Swami Maharaj said, don't worry about passing or not passing, just take the course, just hear, go and hear. He said, that's the main thing. I'm not worried if you pass or not, but I want you to go and hear these classes because it will do you a lot of good. So I think that's important for devotees, you don't want to have this competitive mood. you know, the top student, or I got the best marks, you know, but go for our purification, you know, by hearing and by associating with the devotees in a Krishna conscious manner will be very beneficial.
Very, very nice understanding of what it means to take that class. What you just said is kind of what I experienced, but my fears are like that too. I'm old, I'm going to go in here. I couldn't remember to be here at 7. I thought it was 7:30. And I'm going to do all these classes? Why should I embarrass myself? But it's not that. It's really, it's a unique experience. This is not mundane education. It's like sitting there in Namashrayan hearing Maharaj Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami. So, but not something.
Yes. When it comes to Sastric study program, the key ingredients is attitude of the devotee. If one studies Prabhupada's books with proper attitude, then he can no more remain in darkness. He can go to the light.
Hare Krishna. I want to add one little other observation or thought I've had about this. You know, Krishna consciousness, of course, we know is such a variety of activities. Hearing, chanting, so many things. It's like being at a feast. You have all these preparations. You're trying to decide, what do I eat first? Oh, yes, I know that one. That's nice. And then you look in the back and you see a preparation that, I don't know what that is. I'll eat it last. So Bhakti Shastra seems a little bit like that. People don't want to eat that first. They think, no, that one may not taste so good. Let's eat these in the front. But you're missing out, I'm telling you. I was so, after the first 2 days, I couldn't believe that I did not take it. I couldn't believe it. So, all like Maharaj gave me so many reasons. Put aside your hindrances. Is not what you think. Is this a whole another Krishna conscious experience, and you'll know it once you step into it. And then you'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, one thing that you were asking me about starting the Mayapur Institute, and one thing that we had everybody on our team, we were chanting our japa in Prabhupada Samadhi. Mm-hmm. And phew, boy, the Shakti that came as a result of that was phenomenal. But also, you know, doing this, you know, studying like this, allows us to really develop a deep, loving relationship with Srila Prabhupada. A lot of devotees are thinking, well, I didn't take initiation from Srila Prabhupada. I never met Srila Prabhupada, so how can I have a relationship with him? Well, here's the way. It can be on the same level as someone that did take Diksha, or even deeper. It depends, you know, because this is really, you know, that what he's made himself accessible. Just like there's that famous, when he came into the San Francisco temple one day, and there were all these news reporters there, and one of them asked Prabhupada, what's going to happen to your movement when you die, Swami? And they say, I will never die. I will always live in my books. So that's a key point, you know, that relationship. It unfolds in a very, very powerful way. We'll understand, you know, the Shakti that Prabhupada had, that it enabled him to spread Krishna consciousness worldwide in such a short period of time. And it's still going.
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhupada's accessible to everyone. So the more, you know, we put so much emphasis on distributing the books. We have to think more about getting people to read the books. Yes. Because we saw many times when we would distribute the books, sometimes the people will throw them away, or they never read it, or even they try to read it, they don't understand it. So one of the things which happened during COVID was we started the Gita Gyan program with a chapter a day, 1 hour class a day, 1 chapter a day. Started from Bangalore, but very successful. especially during the COVID time, we got a lot of people online studying Bhagavad Gita. And of course they can go on and study Bhakti Shastri also.
Hare Krishna. You wanted to say one final thing? Come up, we'll give you the mic, and then I think we went over 8:30, but...
We started late, so it's okay.
Oh.
We have our quota.
I just wanted to say, from my own experience, that this kind of Sastric study is so nice. Like you get a taste for it. It's different than just reading the books on your own.
Yes.
Or, it's like there's like an intensity to it. When like-minded devotees who really have a strong desire to understand Shastra get together with teachers who have a love for Shastra, presenting it, with feeling, with like not just an academic intellectual approach, but like with ruchi, and it's contagious. It becomes like an addiction. That's why I'm so eager for Bhakti Sarvabhauma, because it was like when every module of our course finished, we were just looking forward to the next one and looking forward to the next one. And then we came to the 5th module of Bhakti Vedanta, and we were getting to the end, 11th canto, 12th canto. It was like this feeling like, oh no, it's going to end. What are we going to do? It's like, and then when the course was finally over, we were all just like plunged into, Vipralamba Bhava from our classes. So, yeah, it's really nice. It's very ecstatic and very transformative. It's not just a study.
Not academic.
It's not just a study. It's a journey. It's a journey in bhakti, and it takes you to places that you wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Did you do it online or on site?
I did the first. I did Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhava both on site, and then I did Bhakti Vedanta during the pandemic, and it started in the pandemic, so that was online. But they were very strict about keeping the video on, and it was a small class, and everybody was there and focused, and it didn't. My experience was not different from an in-person class, except that during the breaks and after class you couldn't like hang out and talk about it. But
yeah.
We had a WhatsApp group for that. But during the class, it was deep. It was like, yeah, it was the same. For me, it was the same, because the thing is, it is, you get out of it what you put into it. So from the student's point of view, if you're there, you're attentive, you've got your book in front of you, you've done the reading beforehand, you prepared questions, you're listening, taking notes, it's the same thing. But if you turn off your video and go do something else, try to multitask because you can get away with it, then then it's going to be different.
Now she is teaching students in Dallas.
Yeah.
She has her own school. She has got so much taste.
First we started Bhakti Shastri at the international school here. That's still going on. So I was part of the team that started that. Then I went to Gainesville, Florida, started Bhakti Shastri there. And now I'm in Dallas teaching Bhakti Shastri again. And I teach I also teach Bhakti Vaibhava for a couple of groups for VIHE and also for a class that's based in New Delhi. And I've even taught Bhakti Vedanta some parts. So
your life was transformed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a Shastra addict now. I can't get enough.
Yeah. This is another form of nectar we're trying to tell you. Don't miss out on it because it looks strange. I don't know what that is. I remember the first time I took some Prabhupada Maha. It was here in Mayapur, and the first dish I saw was this Corella in a sabji form. I didn't know what it was, and okay. And it was, of course it wasn't the custom of Corella, pungent taste. But anyway, it was nectar. My point is, again, the nectar that's involved in this school, you'll be surprised. As Maharaj, I like Maharaj's summary again, don't be afraid of it, and it's not a competition, and it's a sharing experience, and you won't be disappointed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Even if you're an old Prabhupada disciple, I got one guy brother, I keep trying to make him go, he's like, no, I'm not going to do it, no. I think I'll just drag him on the plane. So.
And also we've seen, because in America we're making new devotees, and there's a big difference between the ones who actually complete Bhakti Shastri and the ones who kind of like don't, they don't do it, or they opt out, or they start doing it and then they give up?
Well, I'll admit, 4 years ago, I paid for the online course, and I never started. I kept making excuses.
Finally on site.
It was a subtle fear, I have to admit. I said, I'm going to be embarrassed by these youngsters, and this old guy is going to, So, but then I got to Mayapur, and they said, 5 weeks? Okay, I can do 5 weeks intense. Let's do it. So.
Well, the ones who do it, they become really solid, because they understand Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, and they get that inspiration. They feel called, to really devote themselves to pushing forward Srila Prabhupada's mission, because they get it. Otherwise they kind of like go off and get married, get a job, do their thing, and chant Hare Krishna on the side. But the ones who really like seriously take Bhakti Shastri seriously, they're more likely to become fully dedicated. Like, this is what I'm doing with my life, is serving Krishna, serving Srila Prabhupada's movement.
Jai. Okay. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very
all.
kind of you.
Lars, please. You can final words and shut it down.
Oh, yeah. Didn't want to thank all of you for your eagerness to come and hear. And we encourage you also, come and join us and study Shastra together.
Shri Mayapur Institute Ki.
Yeah.
All glories to the Samadhi devotees. Thank you. Haribol.